Well, all right, good people. Way back Wednesday, it is that time of day or that time of the week where we present to you the Weed Squad presents Who's to Blame the podcast. This is episode 474. We're getting close. And today we're going to title today's topic, Hey MLB. Hey Major League Baseball, how you doing? We're going to total up things like that. If it's your first time tuning in and listening to us, thank you so much. We have a page on Facebook, Who's to Blame, Instagram, Who's to Blame the podcast, Twitter at W2B Dre Montez, YouTube, Dre Montez, TikTok, Dre Montez63, and as well, please visit the website, DreMontez.com. That'll be www.DreMontez.com. You can check it out in that fashion as well. But other than that, how are you kids doing today? If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Shout out to my cousin Dominique. Happy birthday to you, cuzzo. If you're celebrating an anniversary, happy anniversary to you. Anything you got a little doubt in, we're going to tell you got it. You got it. It's all coming to you. Everything's going to work itself out fine for you. We're here to motivate, congratulate all day, all of the time. All right, we're going to high five. Chest bump. Let's hug it on out. Oh. Gotta get a nice little hug in there. It's the type of weather where you gotta get a nice hug in. And I know this time of year, we're usually discussing the matchups for the Super Bowl, the odds, who house we going to, what we bringing, who you bringing with you, what you're wearing, who you're rooting for, things of that nature. But there's something else going on. It seems to be a stoppage in Major League Baseball. And as a fan of Major League Baseball, I feel as though we need to talk. We need to get some things out there as a fan. Now, this conversation can go one or two ways when you're talking about baseball with people when it gets to a work stoppage situation. They're tired of it, or it's about money. But for those of us out there that really just love the game, now the history of the game of baseball is very sad and dark and disgusting. But the game itself is very, very beautiful. It's like, if I think about it, it's probably my first rom-com, my first romantic comedy, because baseball is very, very romantic to me. But it starts differently for me. I mean, baseball is a very, very important part of my life and has been for quite some time. I can remember as early as 7 years old, wanted to play baseball. Everybody says they were in the womb doing this. I think I physically was in the womb of my mom playing ball. I do believe that. You know, seeing the old man play, you want to mimic your father, what you always around. So I dabbled in the game of baseball. But that's not what did it. What did it was going to the Cardinal games. Shout out to the Boys Club of St. Louis. In meeting players and actually talking to players and not being starstruck. And there was another side of baseball that I got to enjoy at a young age. But then as I'm getting into the adolescent years, something crazy happened. AAU basketball coach, STL Pressure, my brother, Coach Pat, showed me how to shine shoes at a very young age. So we would go down to the Cardinal games and shine shoes in front of the stadium, hustle a little money up. But one particular day, I happened to meet a player that turned out to be one of my favorite Cardinal players of all time, Darrell Porter, number 15 in your heart, and he played back catcher. And at that time, I was playing catcher. Now, this is what was not like a starstruck conversation with a Major League Baseball player. I can remember it like it was yesterday. He was sitting on the back of his white Jeep Grand Cherokee, and he was changing his shoes out. He was wearing some Adidas. And as I was walking by, I said, "Hey, you're Darrell Porter." He said, "Well, I sure am." And the conversation went on there. I told him, to me, in my mind, it was probably a 20-minute conversation. But in all actuality, I think it was probably a 10-minute conversation. But for movie privileges and rights, the motherfucking conversation lasted an hour. In my mind. But I'm telling him at that time, I'm playing catcher. In my days of playing corkball, shout out to the Peabody, Doris Webby, the Cleetown, those of you know who you are. Playing corkball was pretty damn serious at one point. So I used to pretend and mimic batting like Daryl Porter when I played corkball. And I told him that story. So we saw each other a couple other times, no more than 5 more times and less than 10 over the next few years before I joined the Navy. But that showed me a different side of baseball. When you're a kid, you know, all you know is what's on TV, who your team is, who's winning, who your favorite player. But when you meet that person, that changes everything. That changes the whole damn dynamics of the game on why certain people wear a jersey that you have no idea why they like that jersey of that player. Because something very significant took part that they can resonate with that player. Could be an uncle, could be a dad, could be a grandpa, could be an auntie. It could be so many different things on why people root for that particular player or that team. But back to this baseball point. So now I already got the Cardinals on a high level because I don't know what town you live in or grew up in. Certain things are embedded in your body and in your brain when you live in certain towns. Here, it was baseball, beer, education. That's how it went. There's no knock on it. That's just the way the shit rolled in. No problem with it at all. Not one problem with it at all. So now you're visualizing sports a different way. And then you start playing, you know, and looking at the picture of the player, reading the stats a little bit more, watching George Michael Sports Machine, reading the USA Today, the box score, really getting into it, baseball, playing Stratomatic baseball, you know, creating a baseball game on Tandy 2000 and you keeping your own stats yourself in your own composition notebook. That's a love and an affliction for a sport that no one can understand unless you've been down this road. And what led me all the way up to that prelude right there, or the introduction to today's topic, hey, MLB, what is the backup plan? That's what I want to know. Where is the backup plan? We're talking about labor. We're talking about negotiations, time of service, postseason, all that. But if the game is delayed, who's to blame? If the preseason is shortened, who's to blame? If you touch the Major League Baseball schedule in any way to shorten the season, who's to blame? See, that's why I'm at with this. What are we going to do if it gets to this day? Okay, we're usually getting ready for pitchers and catchers. I mean, everybody's excited. It was like back in the mid-'80s, early '90s when the new girl was working that Saturday at the strip club. You know how excited you were then? That's how exciting it used to be when we heard pitchers and catchers report this day. Everybody starts smiling, wondering when they're going down to Florida because it's so convenient here now with the airport over in Illinois. But that changes the narrative now on the preparation for the start of the season. All of that is going to be affected. And it brings out animosity because nobody wants to get to the point. Nobody wants to justify this. Nobody has an answer. More importantly, everybody just talking again. You would think they would learn from what has happened in the past as well as other sports who have had a stoppage. These are not ex-wives and husbands. These are guys that run prospective leagues, the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. The leaders of those organizations, I'm quite sure they talk. I'm quite sure they've used each other's remedies or recommendations at some point. Now, with Major League Baseball being in a very time-restrained, restricted area due to the way they play their games and the nature they play these games at, in some of these venues, they have other events going on as well. So the window of opportunity to have no interruption a no series skip taken away from the fans. We don't have much time. So we must get this done. I don't want to take away from the opening day of Major League Baseball experience. There are probably a lot of fans that are probably for the first time ever are going to go to their home baseball team home opener. And as a person who has been to several of them, it is an amazing event. For one, we missed you. Where you been? We got new people on the team. Hello, we could use you. Hope it pans out well. We got guys coming back who we didn't see at the end of the year that are now here on opening day. And we're proud and happy to see that. We're also happy to see the people that work at these stadiums and parking lots and restaurants that help put on these magnificent turnouts on the opening day of baseball. It's a ritual. I made the suggestion 5 years ago. I mean, who's going to listen to me? But hear me out. Opening day is such a long day for the player due to personal interviews, due to interviews they have to do with MLB Network. No matter what time zone you're in, if you're the it player for that team, you're going to be up. The team rituals at home, meeting the former players, special groups that come in. Their day is long. So I presented this to Major League Baseball. I think the home opener should be just a celebration. You do a parade around the stadium with the players, the current players, players that we picked up, players who were hurt in the offseason we didn't get a chance to see in the second half of the season. They welcome back. New coaches, they wave around to the whatever it may be. Hype us up and tell us about the upcoming season. Hey, great to see you guys. Here we go to 2022. Go Cards. That would be the shit. And then the next day you play a day game. You still got the enthusiasm of the people going. Now, as a partier and a person who enjoys tailgating, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe we should pace ourselves. But tailgating at Cardinal baseball games for the home opener is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. Not many people understand it, have been a part of it. They've heard stories about it, but have you survived and went to the game? Because nobody's going to their actual job the next day. That's just foolishness. But for the ones that have made it to a baseball home opener, it's special. You could have those conversations about the offseason. Whether we made the postseason or not, there's a discussion on what happened the season before. Are you happy with the World Series put out? Are you happy with the MVP? Things of those natures. If we get a new ball player, how do you think this guy is going to help out with our team? It's fun having those conversations instead of just hearing people who watch the game, hearing from people who write about the game, but actually talking to the people who go to the game, who actually think the Cardinals listen to them, who wear more Cardinal gear in style with swag than anybody I've ever seen in my life, actually know what they're talking about. That's what I miss. That's what I love. And that's what I look forward to. I think Cardinal fans are some of the most knowledgeable. I mean, back that up a little bit. The female Cardinal fan are some of the most knowledgeable baseball fans I've ever encountered when it comes to talking baseball. You know, they don't hold no punches. They get right to the point. You know, men, we're kind of, if it's a guy that we like, you know, we really think that guy can hear us. You know, I don't, you know, maybe he needs to, you know, be a little bit more patient in the box. We're looking over our shoulder like he's listening to us. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But that's the beauty of baseball. We all think we know the answers. But every time, every October, November, we're proven wrong when that postseason begins and they eventually crown a World Series winner. But the different variables of the game makes it that much more intriguing to me. When players don't pan out, when that guy we've been waiting on to come up through the farm system and start for our team, and we've had him since he was 17, 18, 19 years old, And finally, his time and moment has come. The player you've been telling everybody about at the job, company picnic, family trips, at the office, at the barbershop. This guy is finally now going to get a chance to play. And you feel as though you had something to do with it. Ain't that something? When we like a player that's not a household name, and then they finally become a household name, and we've been telling people about this athlete since he was 16, 17 years old. And now he's a household name. We walk around with our chest out a little bit, a little bravado, a little spunk in the walk. And it feels good when we're right. But the debate when we're wrong is not far off either. And I'm wondering how this discussion is going with the Major League Baseball peers, the people that have a definitive answer to get out of this work stoppage situation that we're in. But it has to be a better way. We can't keep coming back to the table every 5, 10 years. As a fan, no. But if I worked for Major League Baseball and I was a player, I would like to get back to the table too, because the game is changing. It's evolving. It's not the same as it used to be. Listening to former players and current players on MLB Network over the past few months is the way the game of baseball has changed. Them 3-0 games are far, far, far away. I mean, they're fun to look at and read between the lines, but we all know we see a game 3-0. Whole lot of shit had to happen. Who didn't play? How many pitchers they used? Who was umpiring? See, all that goes in there. It used to be just who was pitching. Oh, okay. Good pitching matchup. In a way, I kind of miss the old baseball. I kind of like the chicks dig the long ball. And the competitive edge of the starting pitching rotation, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be back. I got a feeling this is going to be one of the most competitive years on the mound for all of Major League Baseball pitchers. They got to bring it. They got to bring it. It was fun having those games thinking 1 to 3 pitchers can complete a game. Oh, not anymore. We working them arms, buddy. You're going to get some work this year. We're going to get some work. But that's what I would like Major League Baseball to think about, at least. The what-if factor, the backup plan. What are we going to do if? Are we there yet, Major League Baseball? Are we there yet? And if you are there, can you lay out a plan for us to see? Do we get a say-so in this? A hand raise, a question answered? Can I type in something? Can you pretend that you read it? They make all these decisions about these athletes and these games without us. They make the decision on going in the Hall of Fame without us. They make the decision to move a sports team without us. But when it's all said and done, they need us, don't they? Ain't it funny? Ain't it funny how that all, at the end, the full circle of sports comes back to the fan. And when the people that sign the check, the people that have these fancy yachts and houses that make no sense to me, that own these beautiful sports franchises, finally sit back and say, I was a fan once. Maybe they'll have some compassion, a heart, a care, a mindset, mental clarity. Will that all come together throughout all the sports when it comes to the owners and making the right choice, the right decision? As long as with the players' unions out there in specified sports. Can we come together the right way without a disruption of the game or a stoppage? Now, we know negotiations are a part of everyday. They're a part of everyday life. From what are you going to wear to work to what you're going to eat for dinner. Negotiations are a part of the day. We get that. But when it's affecting us, the fan, is when we have a problem. Want to just say, who's to blame when it's all said and done? But Major League Baseball, don't overthink the process now. Don't overthink this. It's not that serious of a deal. I'm quite sure, as we did in this COVID situation, we can figure out a way to satisfy us. But I want all parties to be satisfied on both sides, where they had enough time to prepare. These venues make sense. This schedule makes sense. I'm talking if we get in a ready up, hurry up, 2-minute drill situation in getting this baseball season underway. Based on what happened last year in baseball, I'm really excited about this year moving forward. The Cardinals have a new coach, first name Oliver. I think the media is going to have fun with that. I have not had a coach named Oliver ever, but that's my outlook on the Cardinals right there. But Major League Baseball, if we can fix this situation, I guarantee you a lot of people will be happy with the situation. It'd be justified. It will be understandable, whatever the decision may be. But I just don't like when they have to crunch the numbers. We got to move this piece and move that. Now we got to move the indoor truck competition. Now we got to move wrestling. Now we got to move this car show that was going to be here. Oh, we got an R&B concert over here. They got to move all this stuff that people have bought tickets for. Think about that. So this work stoppage, I think we're in the right mainframe right now. We're not to hit the panic button quite yet. But I still think the discussions can happen every day other than just Monday and Friday. Hint, 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 hint. I know they're out there playing their squares on this upcoming Super Bowl matchup, but Major League Baseball, we need to get our squares together and get this game on the right diamond, so to speak. How about that, Major League Baseball? I'm not mad at you. I understand. But as a fan, I just thought you ought to know how I feel about you, Major League Baseball. Now, if I was a 5 to 8-year-old little kid, yeah, eat that up. But coming from grown people, they don't really believe us unless we're yelling, burning the shirt, throwing a hat, tossing the kid in midair, ripping up sports memorabilia. That's not happening here. No. For one, that shit costs a lot of money. 2, you don't rip up your own shit no more. Them days are over with. And 3, why yell? Yelling, nobody hears a thing. When you talk very calmly, they're listening because they don't know where it's going to go. You could go up with it. You can go down. You can stay even keel with it. It doesn't matter. The bottom line, Major League Baseball, who's to blame for this madness right here? This is Who's to Blame, the podcast, being brought to you by a title sponsor, The Weed Squad, St. Louis. They're located at 8088 Watson Road. Feel free to visit the website, www.dremontez.com. For one, I'm trying to help you out. You hit that sponsor link there. There's something up there for her or him as we're getting closer and closer to Valentine's Day. And I want everyone to do well. If you screwed up your New Year's resolution already and you're trying to get that second win, here you go. Valentine's Day. I'm looking out for her and him. You can get something together. You never know. There's all sorts of things on there for you to enjoy together as a couple, as a team, as a unit, or as one. No matter what, we got love for you. All righty, kids. This is episode 474. Hey, Major League Baseball. We're going to get a little tune here going, and we're going to get on up out of here and let you folks enjoy the rest of your way back Wednesday morning. You've been listening to Who's to Blame, the podcast with your boy, Dre Montez. You can listen to our podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast app, but don't forget you can follow us as well on social media platforms. Facebook, Who's to Blame. Instagram, Who's to Blame, the podcast. Twitter at W2B, Dre Montez. As well as on TikTok, Dre Montez 63. You folks have a nice one and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Peace, and we out.